It's a breath of fresh air for fans of North American GT racing, as IMSA announced yesterday that the GTE-based GTLM class will be replaced in 2022 with a new GT3-based class called GTD Pro. Before I dive into what this could mean for the 2022 championship, let's roll back the clock to 2014 to see how we got where we are now. The IMSA WeatherTech SportsCar Championship rose as a merger between the two premier sports car racing championships in North America, the American Le Mans Series and the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. The top GT class in the American Le Mans Series utilized the GTE regulations, which featured the same cars that ran in the GT2 and later GTE classes at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. These cars were also run in the World Endurance Championship and the European Le Mans Series. Grand Am, on the other hand, utilized GT3-based cars in their top GT class. The 2014 merger resulted in two GT classes, one from each series. GTLM, or GT Le Mans, became the all-pro GT class that was open to GTE cars. GTD, or GT Daytona, was branded as a Pro-Am category which featured fully fledged GT3 cars. In its initial season, GTLM featured factory entries from BMW, Corvette, Ferrari, Porsche, and Viper, with the addition of Aston Martin for the Rolex 24. In 2016, Ford joined for a 4-season program with the Ford GT. These cars had more downforce, more power, and no anti-lock brakes in comparison to the GTD cars that they shared the track with. Unfortunately, the class was pretty much in a downhill sprint during its final 3 seasons. Ford left the class after the 2019 season, and Porsche's factory program followed after the 2020 season. This left only Corvette Racing and a sole WeatherTech Racing Porsche as the 3 full-time GTLM entries for the 2021 season, as both Ferrari and BMW had scaled back to part-time entries. GTD, on the other hand, has seen a consistent stream of entries throughout its history, and if anything, has gained significant international representation since the class's inception in 2014. And that brings us to today. So what can we expect a year from now? I personally don't expect many changes to the existing GTD class, which will remain open to Pro-Am or fully amateur drivers. So let's talk about GTD Pro. The list on who we can expect to be on the grid next season is still pretty foggy. What we do know is that almost every major sports car manufacturer has a GT3 car that will be eligible. The main exception to this rule is Corvette, who does not have a GT3 car based on the C8 at this time. However, multiple higher-ups within General Motors and Chevrolet have expressed interest in modifying the C8R to become eligible under GT3 regulations, and I can't imagine IMSA would have moved forward with this decision if it put their fan-favorite team in jeopardy. Head of Ford Performance Mark Rushbrook has also revealed the potential for a Mustang GT3 in the future, alongside a potential LMDH entry. Despite there being very limited information on who may be running in this new class for 2022, I'm going to predict that we could see 2 Corvettes, 2 BMWs, 2 Lamborghinis, 1 Porsche, and 1 Ferrari running full-time in the Pro class next season, with a relatively high potential of Mercedes, Aston Martin, and Audi running some part-time entries. Again, this is fully speculation, and I do not have any evidence to back this up at the time. It is also unknown at this time if and how IMSA plans to keep GTD Pro and GTD on different pace levels. My guess is that the GTD Pro cars will be running with slightly more power, but the pace differences will definitely be less than that of the GTLM and GT3 cars. This could present a greater challenge for the Pro drivers and teams as they try to navigate through less experienced drivers in similar cars. Perhaps the largest implication that I see with this decision is what the ACO will decide to do for the World Endurance Championship, European Le Mans Series, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The ACO has expressed the potential for GTE and GT3 convergence in the future, but what IMSA is doing is not convergence. It's a complete overhaul of their top GT class with new regulations. If the ACO were to do anything, I don't expect it to happen in 2022, as the GTE-AM class in the World Endurance Championship is still sitting pretty strong at the moment. IMSA's decision to transition to a GT3-based Pro class could spell the end for teams like Corvette Racing and Risi Competizione at Le Mans, at least for the time being. This would be a severe blow to the event's appeal in the United States, especially as Corvette Racing is traditionally met with the largest fan base year after year. Yeah, the future looks bright for top-class GT racing in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. All that's left to see is who will step up to the plate and how will the ACO respond. That's all I have for this one. If you enjoyed and want to see more sports car racing content in the future, I'd greatly appreciate your subscription, and consider giving the video a like if you really enjoyed. I'd like to quickly thank each and every one of you that helped me reach 1,000 subscribers. It truly means the world to me, and it motivates me to work even harder for the future. Until then, take care, and I hope to catch you in the next video.